In this video, I'm going to show you how to generate a closed opportunity analysis report from Salesforce using Claude Code. All it should take is just a few prompts. So let's jump into it. So I'm in Claude Code via the terminal. So the first thing we have to do is ask Claude Code to generate a Claude Markdown file. The Claude Markdown file, or the Claude MD file, is what gives the project context. Claude Code reads it at every session, so you don't have to re-explain what you're building. So as you can see, I have this empty project folder called Closed Ops Reporting. So I'll type in my first prompt. Create a Claude MD file for this project. It's a closed opportunity analysis tool that connects to Salesforce, analyzes closed won and closed lost opportunities from the last 6 months, and generates a PDF for sales managers. This last part about Python was recommended by Claude, given the fact that it'll be generating a PDF. So I'll go ahead and send that prompt now. So the first question I got was, how should the tool authenticate to Salesforce? I'll select option number 1. The next question is about the PDF generation library. I'll also go with number 1 since it's the recommended option. Next question is, how will this tool be run? So for this video, I'm not going to make this a scheduled job. I'm going to also select option 1. So the next question is, what should the PDF report actually contain? For the purposes of testing, I'm actually going to select all of these and then click submit and then submit answers. All right, so that's done running and our Claude MD file has been created. If we navigate back to the folder, you'll see our Claude Markdown file here. I'll double click it and I'll expand this here. So again, the Claude Markdown file is read every time you start a session in Claude. So you can see how it's laid out. Closed opportunity reporting. So this is the actual function. If I keep scrolling down, you'll see that there's a configuration section, SOC conventions, report structure, suggested layout, and other conventions. I'll expand the terminal again. All right, so we've created the Claude Markdown file. So the next thing I'm going to do is ask Claude Code to generate a skill Markdown file. This is where we define exactly what the report should look like every time it runs. The sections, fields, formatting rules, thresholds. This is what's going to make the output consistent every time this is run. So for my next prompt, I typed out, create a skill MD file for a closed opportunity analysis report. The skill should define how to connect to Salesforce, what fields to pull, how to structure the analysis, and what the PDF output should look like. Ask me any questions you need to make it complete. So I'll go ahead and send that now. So for this first question, I'm going to select option 1. For this second question, how should the skill be triggered? I'm going to select option 2. So it'll fire both on / commands and natural language. So for this third question, any non-standard Salesforce fields the skill should always pull. I'll select options 1, 2, and 3, and then click next. So this next question, where should the generated PDF be saved and how should it be named? I'm going to select option 1 here, and then I'll submit all my answers. So I just realized that I don't have a loss reason custom field in my org. So I'm going to go ahead and select option number 3. I don't know yet. And then for the competitor field, it's actually called something else. So I'm going to select option 4 and the API name is main competitors. And then I'll hit enter and then submit answers. All right, so then for this question, do you want to create a skill MD file? I'm going to select option 2. All right, so that's done processing. The new skill has been created here. If we navigate back to the folder, you can see that within this Claude folder, there's a skills folder. And then within the skills folder, there's this specific skill. And then there's that skill MD file. And if we collapse this, you'll see that there's that skill MD file here. So you can see the name, closed ops report, and then this description here is how this skill gets selected. So depending on what you prompt Claude Code will determine if it picks this skill or not based off the description here. And then you can see it's a similar section structure, the name, when to use it, prerequisites, how to run, what the report contains. So we should expect to see a PDF with a title page, executive summary, trend charts. Scroll down a little bit more, Salesforce query reference, so the tool's SOC targets. You can also see the fields here. So I'll expand the terminal again. So the combination of the Claude Markdown and skill Markdown is pretty important. Again, the Claude Markdown answers, what are we building? This is Claude Code's memory for the project. And the skills Markdown answers, how do we accomplish it? So this is that repeatable playbook for the specific task that we're trying to accomplish. All right, so now that we've generated both of those Markdown files, now we can start building. So my next prompt is, using the skill MD file in this project, build the closed opportunity analysis tool, connect to Salesforce using credentials in the .env file, pull the data, run the analysis, and generate the PDF. Install anything you need and run it when ready. So I'll go ahead and send that now. All right, so that's done processing. Let's go ahead and check out the report. All right, so not bad. You can see closed opportunity analysis, shows the date range for the opportunities in the report, gives an executive summary here. So win rate, revenue won, closed deals, average one deal, and gives additional KPIs here. If we go to the next page, So this page gives an executive brief. So it provides a list of flagged concerns here, along with some ranked recommendations. If we go to the next page, so it displays two bar charts for monthly trends. So monthly deals won versus loss and monthly revenue won versus loss. If we go to page 4, performance by owner, there's actually only 2 owners in this org since it's a free developer org. If we go to page 5, deals by stage, again, this report only covers closed won and closed lost. And the test data in my free developer org didn't have any loss reasons, so nothing's going to show up here. Page 6, closed loss by competitor, shows a bar chart of the deals lost by competitor. And then the last page here shows performance by lead source. The fact that this report only took 3 prompts to generate is pretty impressive. In our first prompt, we generated the Claude MD file. The second prompt, we generated the skill MD file. And then that third prompt, we instructed Claude Code to build and run the report. Some people might say that this is no different than the reports and dashboards that Salesforce offers, but I'd argue that this report offers something more. Salesforce reports and dashboards give you raw data and charts. You still have to interpret them, write the narrative, and pull the insights yourself. Whereas this report here takes the same data from Salesforce and produces written analysis, the executive summary, flagged concerns, and the ranked recommendations, all ready to send to stakeholders, no interpretations required. So the output isn't just a spreadsheet or a chart. It's a narrative report a manager can read in 2 minutes and act on immediately. So as a Salesforce admin, once this report's generated, you can email it to any stakeholder you need to. You can also continue to enhance this by scheduling the generation of this report and then automating the email communication. So you can schedule this to maybe run weekly or monthly and then have the report automatically sent to managers. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you all for watching today, and I'll see you in the next video.